So once you have an Elluminate moderator account, you can create new sessions in Elluminate. To do that, you log in using the first letter of your first name and your last name. So I'm Christina Mune, so mine will say C Mune. And your password is your 9-digit SJSU ID number. Once you log in, you'll get a Create New Sessions link here on the left. You'll click on that and pull up a Create Session page. The first thing you'll do is name your session. I'm going to recommend naming it after your instructor training session. So if we were going to train Dale, we would say Dale David's training session. You'll click on the calendar icon here to choose the date of your session. Ours is going to be Wednesday, March 30th. And then we'll put in our start time. Let's say this one's going to start at 6. Make sure you have the correct AM or PM set here, or else no one will be able to enter your session at the right time. The end date automatically populates with the same date as your start date, and for your training sessions, that'll be fine. We'll set your end time, will be 7 o'clock. The early session access time is how far in advance of the session start time participants can enter the Elluminate session. By default, it's 30 minutes. I think that's plenty of time for you to go in and set up your PowerPoint and get the session set up the way you like it. But if you need more time, you can choose 45 or 60 minutes. You can also have your session repeat daily, weekly, or monthly, but for now I think this one-time session is fine. You click on the plus sign to expand the Session Access panel. Note that the Display Session on Elluminate Live Manager public page is checked. I recommend you keep that checked because if your instructor does not want to go back to the email and look for the link, they can find the session on the Elluminate Sessions page. If you uncheck this, the session won't show and they may not be able to access it. For the session password, I choose something simple. Like you can see, I've been using D2L. And next we'll expand the session moderators and participants. By default, you're made a moderator in your own session. You can make everyone who enters a session a moderator. That means as soon as someone enters the Elluminate session, they'll get all the moderator privileges. Or you can look specifically for the instructor you'll be working with, choose them from the list, and click on this arrow to add them as a moderator. Once you see their name in this window, it means they've been added as a moderator to the session. If your instructor doesn't have a moderator account in Elluminate, which is unlikely but possible, you'll search for them and you won't be able to find their name in the list. That's a good time to use this Make Everyone a Moderator. The other options you might want to use is the classroom session attributes. In that panel, you can change the maximum simultaneous talkers. So if you want you and your instructor to be able to speak at the same time in the session, you can change that to 2. I usually leave that at 1 because you can also change that in the Elluminate session itself once you've gotten started if you want to have simultaneous talkers. The other thing is the session recording options. For hide attendee names, this is a good thing to use if you plan to ever show that recording publicly, if you're going to share it with anyone but the session participants. That way the recording does not show the participant names and everyone's name remains private. The other thing you can do is have your session record automatically. I don't usually choose that because then the session will only record from the beginning to end time. So for this session it would be 6 to 7. And if we went over, I couldn't change the recording time. So I usually leave that on manual. When we're done with that, we'll click Create. Now you'll get a sessions detail page, and here's where you can copy the join session link. So I usually just right click copy link location, and then you paste that into an email and send it to the instructor with any information you want them to have, such as encouraging them to complete the tutorials. You can also send email invitations, which will send an automatic invitation from Elluminate to everyone listed as moderators or participants in the session. So this would send it to me and Dale. You would just click submit here. It has all the session information in it. I prefer to use the session link in an email just because I can give them any information I want them to have as well. To get back to the session schedule, click here. And now if we go to the date, which was March 30th, we can see our Dale David's training session is here. If we wanted to edit the session, we would click on this update session icon. We could change anything, like maybe our session needed to be an hour later. And then we would click Update. And it gives us that join session link again. The link has not actually changed, but it's just allowing us to copy the link again. If you have a problem where you lose the link, like maybe when you go to paste the link in an email, it's no longer on your clipboard, but you've already closed out your Elluminate window, you can simply go to that Update Sessions page, not change anything, but click Update, and you'll get this link again in case you need to copy it. If you need to delete a session, I'm not sure why you would need to do that, but if you did, you would check the delete box here, click delete, and then click delete again here. We can do that now because we don't need this session. Once your session is over, if you want to get a link to the recording, which I suggest you do and email it to the instructor after your training session is over, you would simply go to the date that your session was on. There's not going to be any recordings for the 30th because it hasn't occurred, but let's say our session was on the 28th. You would right-click on the link to the session and click Copy Link Location. Then you could paste that into an email. That's really the only way to get a link for the recording. So I hope this was helpful, and good luck, you guys.